I'm Manouk Akopyan. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you to our partners, personal injury attorney Nelson Gervonta.
We have Leonard Ellerbe over here, not only one of the best promoters in the game, but one of the sharpest dressed promoters in the game. Got his Versace coat on, his Cartier frames on, here for the David Benavidez fight. Leonard, you're going to be promoting this one for PBC. This was a surprise fight that kind of happened out of nowhere. We were expecting it to happen, but perhaps not so soon. How did this fight come together so quickly?
When you have two warriors who want to make something happen, this is what you get. And this is really about giving the fans exactly what they want. Both guys, well, especially David Morrell, he's been very, very vocal for a number of years now with wanting to get at David Benavidez, but the time is right now. You got two young guys in their prime, and they're ready to lay it all on the line come February the 1st. And that's going to be a terrific fight. I see the fight as a 50-50 fight because both guys have some things that they do exceptionally well, and we'll be able to see how, when those contrasting styles come together on 1 February, what it looks like.
What does this speak to, like, Benavidez just going after the best available options for him out there? Because Morrell, he is a dangerous fighter. Of course, didn't look like the world beater he was in his last fight, but still a dangerous fighter. What does that speak to David just going after the best challenges available to him as he waits for the Canelo fight?
It's mindset. David Benavidez has always been a guy that wants to entertain and give the fans what they want. He's a guy that I can honestly say that he means what he says. He means what he says, that when he said he wants to get at this guy, yeah. But in the David Morrell case, you got a young guy who, Cuban standout, who's just looking to get in there. He sees something in David Benavidez. He sees something, and he wants to, in his mind, to expose that. Because he's been extremely vocal about wanting this particular fight to happen. He thinks that he's the guy that will be able to stop that David Benavidez freight train.
Mm-hmm. With being so close to Canelo over the last few years as he's worked with PBC, what can you offer us as to his mindset as to when perhaps a David Benavidez fight could happen? He's obviously floated that big number out there, but what do you think needs to happen in order for that fight to go down?
Canelo's going to do him. That's my guy. Canelo's going to do him. He's put himself in a position where he can call all his shots. And that's really, he's put in that work. He's put in that work, and he's earned that right. And so if he sees timing, mindset-wise, that this is something he wants to do, he'll do it. If not, then he don't have to prove anything to anyone, in my opinion.
He's certainly taken a page out of Floyd Mayweather's book, as Floyd picked and chose to be pleased and wanted to do his own thing, and he earned that with all of the big wins towards the latter half of his career. Do you kind of see some kind of similarities there?
Well, both were top dogs. Both were the guys that, when they stepped in the ring, their opponents made the most money that they've ever made. So from those similarities, both have fought a number of great champions. They shared the ring one time, and Floyd obviously pitched a shutout. From that standpoint, Canelo has a different kind of fan base, though. He has a different kind of fan base. He has a fan base of an entire country that's behind him, and it's going to support him no matter what. No matter what. Both guys, they've made their mark in the sport. Canelo's an all-time great. Floyd's TBE. Two exceptional, great fighters who've done a lot for the sport.
Canelo Benavidez, do you think we see it next year?
It's up to Canelo. I will be more than happy to be a part of that historic event. I think it's a massive event. Hopefully it happens.
Do you think that's the bigger fight, or Crawford Canelo is the bigger fight as far as public interest, mainstream interest, pay-per-view buys? What do you think is the bigger fight?
Well, the bigger fight between
for financially, both for the fighters and public interest, pay-per-view buys, all that good stuff.
Well, again, it's not even close. It's not even close, and that has no disrespect about the opponent, none whatsoever. It's just that the fight, the Benavidez Canelo potentially fighting, that has generated just incredible interest over the years, and it has nothing to do with Crawford. Crawford's an exceptional fighter himself, and has been for a number of years. But the fan interest, if those two came together, Canelo and Crawford, it would be an exceptional, huge event. But you're asking me which would be the bigger, and it would be.
Of course, you've been involved in basically the biggest pay-per-view events in boxing history. So I thought, no one would know better.
I know exactly.
Who would have a pulse on what would be the better, not better, more lucrative.
If you were comparing the two, that would be much bigger.
Let's talk about the other pay-per-view star outside of Canelo, Tank Davis. He's getting ready to fight Lamont Roach. There appears to be a shift in the date. What's the latest you could offer as far as when we could see Tank back in the ring?
Stay tuned for the Tank Davis announcement. Tank will be making an announcement here very soon.
It's still Lamont Roach as the opponent. We're just going to have a different date and location.
It's still Lamont Roach.
Gotcha.
Still Lamont Roach.
What does a perfect 2025 look like for Tank? He's going to start off with Lamont Roach. Who are some ideal opponents that is going to materialize for him afterwards?
Well, it's all about timing, who it is. That Tank over everybody. There's not one of these guys that can fuck with him. Not one. Not one. So I'm excited to see him get these names out the way, because it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of time.
Haney, Lopez, Garcia rematch.
I don't want to call nobody's name.
Shakur.
But Tank is going to get whoever y'all said the top guys are. Because what I've seen belts change hands several times over the last few years, and these events aren't what you guys think they are, and I happen to know that, and I've been telling y'all that for quite some time. But it's whoever the fans think is the top guys out there. I know what Tank Davis is bringing to the table. Know what he's bringing, and no guy that you mentioned can beat him.
Lomachenko didn't take the fight. What happened with that one falling apart?
Well, he's had a lot going on with his country. Not making excuses. I'm just telling you what the reality is. He had the opportunity to share the ring with Tank this year. He chose not to for a number of personal reasons, and so I can't be mad at anything, along those lines. The fight didn't happen many years ago because he's been busy. I repeat, he's been busy. His promoter has had things for him to do. He was in a tournament, and they've always had plans for him to do. If those two share the ring, it would be a great fight. Obviously, Tank will stop him, in my opinion. It would be a great fight if they happen to fight one day.
Is the framework there to pick it up? Was it just a timing thing for Loma, or he just didn't want the fight after kind of going into the nitty-gritty?
I think you have to ask Egas that, and him. I have nothing but respect for him and what he's done in his career. You have to ask Top Rank that, too. He's at a point probably in his career where they built him up to get to a point. He's had a couple unfortunate setbacks for him. He knows that the biggest fight for him and Top Rank, the company, they know who it is. They know who it is. And I think it would be a terrific fight for the fans if it happens. But Tank's not sitting around waiting on him.
Absolutely. And
or anybody for that
I think at this point, Tank calls the shots. He picks and chooses the opponents because he is the he is the A side in the negotiations. He is the pay-per-view draw. What do you think someone like a Haney or a Lopez or a Shakur needs to do to level up in order to get to his status, in order to make the fight a little bit bigger than it is already?
Well, I can't speak on what anybody else needs to do. We're going to keep on doing what we're doing over here, line these guys up, and Tank will knock each and every one of them down, whomever that might be.
135, is that the long-term plan? Is at any point 140 in the picture?
Whatever Tank decides. Whatever Tank decides. Tank's a naturally smaller guy. You know, some of these fans say the most ridiculous things. You know, they probably won't be satisfied till he fights a 68-pounder. You know, but Tank's a naturally small guy. He's very disciplined, which I'm very proud of him. He's made definitely a drastic change from many years back. He's super focused. I love that he's a family guy now. He has beautiful kids. That his goals are to be a terrific father. You know, be someone who is active in his kids' life. So he spends a lot of quality time with his kids, and obviously he's at the top of his game. He's, in my opinion, he's the best that's out there. Period. So he'll continue to go out there and set the example. He got it from the mud. Go out there and just get the fans exciting performances, and the guys who y'all say are the best, he's going to prove to you that they can't fuck with him.
Can you take us into Tank's demeanor a little bit? It seems like once fight night's done, he's off the grid. We don't see him. He doesn't talk. He's not in the limelight. What is Tank? What is he up to in between the fights?
See, what y'all got to understand is that boxing is a part of his life, but it's not his life. Meaning, like, you have to have, and I'm glad that he's actually like that. Like, he don't, like, when he come to work, he comes to work. When he's done with work, then he goes and enjoys his time. He's living his life, man. He's living his life, and I'm very, very happy for him for that. He understands who he is as a young man, and whatever his goals are in life, he's not going to be influenced by somebody over here saying he should do this and should do that. No, he's going to do exactly what he wants to do. He knows he's the best out there, and he's just going to prove that, continue to prove that to the fans and the media.
Tank versus Devin Haney. Is that fight going to happen? You guys have gone a lot of back and forth throughout the years.
I don't know. Haney can't fuck with Tank, and everybody knows that.
You don't,
he's a good fighter. He's a good fighter. Very good fighter, but he can't beat Tank.
Do you think he's broken after the Garcia fight? Will he ever recover from a beating like that?
Yes, he will recover. Of course. Of course, it was just...
A lot of people are writing him off.
I don't know why. I know he had a bad night. He had a bad night. That was it. Still a very good fighter.
Absolutely. And just for some clarification, Leonard, I know you and Mayweather Promotions, you moved on. You're doing your own thing now. Is Gervonta Davis tied to Mayweather Promotions in any way, or is he strictly with PBC right now?
Strictly with PBC.
Gotcha. And what have you been up to post Mayweather Promotions? If you could update us on that.
My focus is Tank Davis, and Tank Davis only. And obviously, I've branched out into the women's basketball.
Very nice.
Women's basketball. I'm working with in my opinion, she's the most skilled women's basketball player on the collegiate level in the entire world. And her name is Keomi McMiller.
We'll be looking out for her.
Yeah, everyone follow her. Keomi McMiller. She's a freshman at Rutgers right now, and she's just an incredible basketball player. She can do everything, and you're going to be seeing a lot of her. You're going to be seeing highlight reels of her everywhere, because she is different. And just don't take my opinion. Just go check her out. Check her out. She actually plays today. They play at Virginia Tech. Just watch her.
Absolutely.
It's incredible basketball.
We'll be following up on that. And before I let you go, Leonard, the big event of the year just finished. Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. Just your reaction, the event, the glitz, the glamour, what you saw, what you made of it.
Successful event. Netflix did a phenomenal job. Major props to Jake Paul and his promotional company for putting it all together and working hand in hand. Incredible job. Tremendous exposure. Nothing but props for me. I said it from the beginning, though. It was a great idea, and I knew from the marketing standpoint, it was insane. Never seen anything like that. So I think it's great for the sport. I think there will be more people who are interested in seeing a boxing match, you know, especially a bigger boxing match with, you know, the more popular names. So I think the fan interest, you know, you'll have more fans that are engaged in boxing. So it's a win-win. Both guys made a shitload of money. Nobody got hurt. I'm very happy for Mike, you know, to get the big bag, you know, so.
Yeah, I think everyone had big hopes and dreams that Mike would have a turn back the clock like performance. It just wasn't there. And at the age of 58, you know, I think we might have been asking for too much.
And Mike's in a win-win situation anyway. Win-win situation, just going there and just showing that he had the discipline to actually get in there and train and to do what he needs to do. You know, obviously, Jake was, 27?
Right.
You know, so Mike just went out there and he did what he needed to do. He showed up, and you know, he's not the old Mike Tyson, but I'm just happy for him and proud of him that he was able to go in there and, you know, do his thing and more importantly, get that big bag.
Absolutely, and I'm sure you'll be looking forward to getting Tank Davis those big bags in 2025, as well as promoting Benavidez Morel February 1st in Las Vegas. Leonard, always a pleasure.
All right, Tank over everybody.